Welcome to the Dancer's Paradise podcast. Unfortunately, we will not be joined by our boy Jacob today as he is off doing magical things. But you got the rest of us. You got Soon over here.
Here's me.
We got Mr. Kyler, always prepared and ready. And we have been watching Invincible on Amazon. And it is honestly pretty fucking cool.
It is.
It's way better than I thought it was gonna be, and I'm fucking loving it.
Right? I'm totally shocked because I looked at it, and obviously in the trailers, like, they're not going to show you all the shit that happens. Also, massive spoilers for anybody who's watching this. Don't listen to us. Go watch it and then come back and listen.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. What I like about this show, too, that it does, is, like, it doesn't go into a bunch of backstory stuff for a lot of the characters. The characters are just there.
It moves so
and
quick.
You just need to... Yeah, it's just filled with so much stuff. They give you little hints that you just have to kind of, like, unravel things by yourself to figure out what, some of the backstory behind these characters, but they don't have like all these things going to how they got their superpowers or how the world actually functions with superheroes. It's just something that you have to infer just watching the show and the little hints that the dialogue gives you, and it's really cool. And it also gives a lot of stuff to unpack in each episode.
Oh yeah.
They never really explain their powers. People got powers.
They really don't. I mean, it's just like watching. It's literally just like watching the Justice League, except the plot is interesting.
Fucking DC,
Except
dude.
The plot is interesting. I like DC, and it's cool seeing this here and all the blatant like parodies of DC characters is really fun.
Darkwing.
Oh, dude, I like Darkwing.
Just fucking Batman.
Cool. They do really like. What's cool about it is these are all parodies of a lot of comic book characters, really famous ones. But in the same way, they're kind of still their own character, and that's what I think I like about it. Like, there's such differences between the character they're referencing and the actual one. Yeah, and it's enough of a difference for you to actually like them a lot.
The for the most part, I mean, it's like the quote unquote Justice League in this series is like a mirror image of the Justice League in DC. All the characters are different somehow. Actually, you know what? That's some of the characters are different. At least they look a little different. The Flash is Russian. I'll take it.
Poseidon's an actual fish.
I like him. I like what's his name?
Aquarius, I think his name was.
Aquarius. Yeah,
his
like
powers
Aquarius.
were not really that impressive. He just I shoot water.
He shoots water. That's all he needs. He's Aquarius. He's a fish.
Yeah, that helped him. That helped him real good during the certain event, right?
Oh, dude, it's so cool.
I mean, that's the problem with Justice League as well, though, where it's like, okay, you got all these people, and then you got Superman. Like, what do you need any of these other people for? He can literally do it all if he feels so inclined.
Yeah, it's funny because like a lot of the things in like Justice League is it introduces characters that Superman can't beat, so everyone else just doesn't stand a fucking chance.
Right?
Well, you're basically waiting to see what Superman or Batman's gonna do.
Superman's weakness is he's fucking boring.
Yeah, he's the least interesting superhero.
God.
I've heard people argue about it. Like, there's a guy I used to work with who had Superman shit all over his stuff.
He likes Superman? Oh, no.
He did. And, I felt bad because, like, we got into a conversation because we're driving around all day. There's not much to do. And I was like, yo, Superman is boring as shit. And he was, like, hurt. He was
man, my heart, my soul.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but he's enough. I cannot relate to Superman in any fashion. Omnipotence isn't... Oh, I just figured out why he's called Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
It's not a very interesting thing to be
Omni-Man.
all-powerful.
My favorite like superhero has pretty much for a very long time has always been Spider-Man. He's been my favorite superhero. He's like a character that is very easy to relate to with his issues, but he's also like a character that really wants to be a hero and something that you can like admire about him.
Yeah, he's a vulnerable champion. There's what's not to like.
Yeah,
I've always gone for like the anti-heroes kind of. Like, I love Deadpool a ton.
You guys like
Deadpool,
heroes that talk a lot. I like Broly.
What you? That's not a hero. That's a villain.
He's not even. Wait, what?
Wait,
Broly does talk a lot though.
he doesn't though. Compared to Spider-Man or like.
Well, compared to Super Broly, he does.
Deadpool. I'm just playing. I do like Venom and the Hulk. That's pretty much it for me.
Oh, that's one thing. I watched that new Venom movie. Well, not like new anymore, but I watched it recently, like not too long ago, and it was actually really good.
It is good. I
did not expect him to go for
like
joking anti-hero Venom. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, me either, and it's a good fit. I actually like that. But anyway,
anti-heroes,
we're getting off topic. We got to talk about Invincible. So let's just start off with like the start of the show. It starts literally in front of the White House, and we just get a scene of just two of the guards just talking. One of the guards is talking about his son Mark and all the things that he's doing for school and stuff, and it's pretty chill. It surprised me because that scene goes on for like a solid, 2 or 3 minutes.
I say 2 or 3 minutes,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Just for a
almost, it's a touching story that Steve, the guard's telling, but it's almost boring because you're just like sitting here. It goes on for a really long time.
And you're expecting it to kind of, it's just an opening scene. I mean, I'm sitting
Yeah.
there like, okay, it's gonna pop off real quick.
Well, it's like I was like, where is this exactly going?
That's
like
what
I knew
I thought,
something was gonna
too.
happen, but I was like, where?
Yeah.
What? This is some weird
But then,
shit.
but then the scene just keeps going. It's just him talking more and more and more until finally something does happen, and we get the Mauler Twins burst out from the ground.
The Mauler
these
Twins.
huge, they're like 7 or 8 feet tall. These guys are humongous.
Big blue
They're
dudes.
all muscle. Yeah, they're huge. They're blue. And one of
might
them,
be a
they're
clone.
identical twins. Yeah, I think they're clones.
They're clones of
completely
yeah.
identical twins.
They're
But
supposed to
clones
be
and
clones.
refer to each other as
They're clones, but nobody knows which one is the real clone. So they're
not
they're
even
constantly
each other.
bickering about it,
Dude,
which is
I
pretty good.
love the bullshit the subtitles played where it's like, say it, I'm the clone. It was like Mauler number 2. That's right. It's like, what?
It's good. They have some fun with this show. But the Mauler twins, they're really interesting. I love their interactions between each other because they're constantly like, as the inferior clone, of course you would get this wrong, and I, the original, am so much better. And they just constantly do that, and it's the most hilarious thing.
It's very casual
It's
too.
just-
Like they're beating the fuck out of people and they're just having that conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
But apparently, the president is after them or something. I don't actually remember what they said, but they're at the White House to kill the president and basically say, "Yo, none of you can touch us because we're so powerful." And this must happen a lot because on the White House they got these huge quad cannons that are just
They're big
immediately
guns,
start
man.
shooting at the Mauler twins. There's 8 of them. They're humongous. But unfortunately, they seem to be bulletproof because they actually laugh on how much the bullets tickle. And even one of the clones said, actually, I prefer a higher caliber. So they clearly just don't even care.
Yeah, there's no they don't really dictate what their superpower is or anything. They're a lot of the characters, unfortunately, and I don't know, kind of it's just like the Justice League where everybody's super strong and is super enduring to everything. There's just a level of I can get my ass kicked this much that applies to everybody in the fights, no matter who they are.
I think it's like the whole super powered thing just makes them stronger. I don't know.
Automatically get more calcium in your bones.
More
I don't
beefy.
know.
Got so much calcium in there. My bones are so heavy.
Right, and then so they attack the White House, and then the faux Justice League shows up.
Yes, the Guardians of the Globe. So this is our first interaction with the heroes of the show. The Guardians of the Globe. They fly in, they do the whole dramatic landing and their poses and stuff. They're 7 heroes, and they're all parodies of DC heroes from the looks of it.
This scene looks like it came right out of Justice League.
Yeah,
The
they're
animated
really
Justice League. It's the same thing. The music is the same. The way everything looks, and then
Their power is...
and then it becomes more fun pretty quickly.
Yeah. So the 7 heroes, just to go through them, we have War Woman, we have Darkwing, we have Red Rush, we have Aquarius, Martian Man, Green Ghost, and the Immortal. And the Immortal, he seems to be the leader of the group because he's immediately, as soon as they land, he starts giving orders. And he tells Red Rush, who is basically the Flash, to start evacuating people. And he just zips around, he's a speedster, and just starts evacuating some of the civilians. Meanwhile, the Immortal, the first power that we see he has is he's really fucking strong. Because he goes up to one of the Mauler Twins and just decks him right in the face and just sends him flying.
Well, one thing I did like is very quickly you just see people getting yeeted everywhere. Like every time there's a chance for somebody to get chucked, it just seems to happen in this show, and I love it. The other part that happened that was dope is, I guess, the Flash actually starts saving people for a second. He's not the Flash, but you know what I mean. And because of the speed, he like knows everybody. As soon as they get saved, they're all standing at a bus stop and they just start randomly vomiting, and he like knows it's gonna happen.
He's like, no, don't.
Once one starts, everybody's gonna. Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Then he goes.
That's so good.
I like that.
What I like, he also has that Russian accent too. Mm-hmm. It just adds to his character. But yeah, so basically the scenes show off a lot of their different powers. So we have War Woman, who's basically a mix of, well, she's really just Hawk Girl. She just has just this
Hawk
mace
Girl
without the
and
spikes
Wonder
on
Woman
it,
kind of comboed.
Yeah, and she just has super strength. She can fly, and she's just beating one of the Mauler Twins with her mace. We have Green Ghost, who's kind of like Martian Manhunter. She can churn intangible and churn anyone that she's touching intangible, and she can fly.
Danny Phantom.
Jeez, dude.
Danny Phantom, nice. But eventually, this happens off screen, but we see that the Immortal is fought off by one of the Mauler Twins, who's now attacking the White House, and he breaks down the wall, and he's about to enter, but he's stopped by Aquarius and Martian Man. So Aquarius is literally just a giant fish, like that's his thing. He's just a big fish.
He's a mermaid,
and he can
with the top, with the fish half on top.
And he can summon water through his hands and fire it at high pressures. And Martian Man, he can stretch his limbs and his entire body, and he also has super strength.
He's basically Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, kind of.
The Fishman is just a Blastoise. I guess pretty much.
Blastoise.
Yeah, they're stopped by them when they literally just throw a giant APC at the Mauler Twin and just crushes him. And they head into the building to try and locate the president so they can help protect him. Mauler, though, recovers, throws the APC off, and he tries to enter the building again. But this time Darkwing, who is... He's Batman.
Batman and Green Goblin. Kind of.
Yeah.
He's got a glider.
He's just Batman.
He's Batman.
He's got a glider, though, dude.
Yeah, but Batman could have a glider.
Batman can have whatever he wants. It's Batman. There ain't no Green Goblin. That's Batman.
He's got a bad credit card.
He's got a bad credit card. What?
I don't fucking know.
But, Darkwing throws some explosives to stop him, and the Mauler hears someone behind him. A woman, a civilian, rushes out of the building, and the Mauler literally grabs her by the head and just fucking yeets her into the sky. And Darkwing's like, oh shit, and he takes his glider jet and he's flying through the air and manages to catch her and bring her to the ground. And the Mauler takes this huge APC that was just thrown at him and throws it at Darkwing and the girl. And this is a cool moment because you kind of get to see like the integrity of the characters. The APC lands atop of Darkwing, who is on top of the woman to try and protect her from being crushed. And Darkwing seems to be just like Batman. He's a normal human who just uses gadgets and technology to let him fight villains.
Yeah, because he had the wires came out of him, right? To hold up the APC. He had like a weird exosuit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has these like metal arms that come out of his suit to try and hold the APC up to prevent them from being crushed. but they're breaking. They can't support the weight.
The
And he's trying to use a...
the APC is like a tank, just in case you don't know what that is.
Yeah,
Yeah, armored personal carrier, I think is what it stands
that's what
for.
it stands for.
It's huge. And he takes a grappling hook. He's trying to like pull both of them out from underneath it, but it's too tight. Like it's not working. So what he does is he gives the end of the grappling hook to the woman, so that she can escape. And she's telling him like, "Don't do it. You're gonna die." But he does it anyway, knowing that he's literally about to die. And I really actually like that scene because it really shows like how heroic the characters really are. But luckily, before he's crushed, go ahead.
Well, it's just because I watched The Boys as well, right? And I know you
The
guys.
Boys.
Soon, I don't know. Did you say you seen that?
I finished the first season. Still
Okay.
have not gotten to the second
So
one.
like I didn't want to watch this show specifically because I'd already seen The Boys, and I was like, this looks like it's just going to be a knockoff. And then this is kind of a scene that kind of sets it in a different universe, because in The Boys, you find out things are not all they seem pretty quickly.
very quickly.
Very quickly. And then here you see this scene, and Batman is literally about to sacrifice himself. It's not Darkwing, excuse me, to save this lady. And so you're like, okay, so like it's not the same thing. These are actual heroes. This is much more traditional superhero oriented so far, so it was a good little moment to be like, okay, I'm sitting down for something else. It's not, if anybody was kind of concerned about, well, I just, the same thing I was, where it's like, well, it's The Boys in cartoon form. It's not quite that.
For me, when you guys mentioned it was like The Boys, I was like waiting for it the entire time. I was like, where is it like this? And then when we'll get to it, but like when things start popping off, they fucking pop off quickly, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then I think
luckily-
Omni-Man shows up, right?
Omni-Man gets
before
the
he can
album.
be crushed, Omni-Man shows up and he just lifts the entire thing with one hand. He's flying through the air. He's basically Superman. You can tell right
he's
away.
Superman. Everything about
Yeah.
him is Superman.
It just screams like this dude's the strongest. And there's some debris that's falling onto Omni-Man, and Darkwing just like, look out behind you, and he throws some shurikens and they explode. And Omni-Man doesn't even look like he cares. Like he probably knew that was happening. He's just like, whatever. And Darkwing flies off, and Omni-Man's like, well, you're welcome, I guess.
Well, it just shows like the thing that's always been true with Batman, where it's like he's still just a guy, and he's fighting superhuman, and aliens and god beings. It's just a quick little moment that's like, all right, this is what that is.
Yep, so we return back to the fight. Immortal is now fighting Mauler again. He's recovered from whatever happened to him off screen. And there's soldiers trying to help, but Immortal basically is like, nah, you guys gotta like get out of here. And he literally grabs the soldiers and he's just chucking them. He's like literally throwing them hundreds of feet through the air and just like trying to get them away from the Mauler twins. And he looks up and this was a weird scene when I remember watching it, and I've watched it a couple times, because he looks back and he sees Omni-Man like grabbing them and getting them to safety. But Omni-Man, it looks like he's taking a bit too long, because I think he throws like 7 people. He's only grabbing like 2 at a time, and there's one person that he misses who's still falling. And Immortal goes to grab him because he doesn't think Omni-Man's going to make it in time. But he clearly does. And Omni-Man's like almost offended. He's like, I had him. It would have been fine. And this is kind of your first look into the idea that the Guardians of the Globe and Omni-Man are not on the same team. Like, they're both superheroes, but they don't actually work on the same team together. Because clearly when the Immortal threw those people, he didn't think he himself would be able to save him. Someone on his team would. But then he didn't trust Omni-Man to get that job done.
Oh, I never
Does that
even
make
noticed
sense?
that. Yeah, no, I get that. Like,
Yeah.
Are
I
they
didn't remember that.
actually? Is Omni-Man part of the Guardians?
I thought he was, because did he say he worked with
No.
them?
He
Nope,
works
he
with
is
them,
not.
but he's all of them combined and more. So why would
Yeah.
he care?
And I thought that scene was strange, and that's the reason why it's there, is because it kind of shows that he's not part of this like tight-knit group. He helps them, but that's kind of all it is.
He's a lone wolf.
Yep, so together they take down
God
and
damn
arrest
it.
the Mauler Twins. And then we get introduced to our actual main character, Mark, who is sitting on a toilet.
Yeah, man.
No,
You gotta
he was-
fucking read
oh,
Wait,
yeah.
was he reading Seance Dog at that point? I don't remember.
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was reading the comic called Seance Dog.
Seance
And remember his mom burst in, said, "I need to use the bathroom,"
I
while
was
he's like
mad.
taking a shit.
He was looking for something.
You cannot do that to your teenage son. You are
That's so
asking for so much
traumatizing.
trouble. Both of
Oh
them
my
are
gosh.
asking for trouble if you do that. Rude, disgusting. I don't know who walks in on somebody using the bathroom like that.
Right? Like, jeez, I'd be so traumatized.
But
Like,
then
Mom,
again,
stop.
you find out like throughout the course of the show that his mom is kind of like a badass. Like she's just a regular
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
And there's
I
some
really like
lines.
a lot of the characters.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I'd say even above the boys is like I like almost. There's no character that I really hate. Even the guy that you guys hate, I don't mind him so much. You know, like I kind of like
just-
all the characters.
It's a weird thing because, like, are you talking about Mr. Splode?
Yeah,
Yeah. See, it's weird because, like, I hate that he's a douchebag, but I like that he's voiced by what's his face.
Jason Mantzoukas. I think
Yeah.
that's what it is for me too. I don't really like.
Like,
I just like Jason Mantzoukas. I don't care about that character.
I like him too. That's like, so like, hearing his voice, I'm like, hell yeah! And I was like, but you've done awful things. So far.
Yeah. But we get introduced to Mark Grayson, who turns out to be Omni-Man's son. And we were introduced to Omni-Man, or Nolan's family, Deborah, his wife, and it's just the three of them living in this house. And we also learn that Mark, unlike his father, doesn't have any superpowers. He's completely powerless. And we get some other stuff too, as we learn that Omni-Man is actually not human. He is a Viltrumite from the planet, or
Viltrumite or
excuse
Viltrumite?
me.
I was gonna say
Viltrumite, IL. Yep.
He's a
from the planet
Kryptonian.
Viltrum.
Voltron.
But Mark himself, he's still in, I think he's in high school. I don't know. They don't ever say like what grade or
He's in
how
high
close he is
school.
to graduating or anything like that.
He's supposed to be
Well,
17, I think.
Yeah, they said he was
Is he
close to 18.
17?
Yeah, they're 17.
Okay.
Yeah, because his
Okay.
dad,
Yeah.
because Omni-Man says something like, most all of like Viltrumites will get their powers by 18 at the most. I think he said it was.
Yeah, at the latest. Even
Yeah,
the
at the
latest
latest.
bloomers get their powers by the age of 18. So I thought he was like 16 or 17, around there. But at school, we get some other scenes too of Mark like interacting with some of the other kids there.
I did like the one
we-
scene of him outside his house, like trying to jump up in the air to make his
Oh,
flight
yeah.
activation work, and the mailman's just staring at him like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, it's really clear he really wants his powers, and we see this again when he's at school because we meet a girl named Amber who's being bullied by someone. Your average school bully named Todd.
Guy's
Yeah.
name
Fucking
Todd.
Todd.
And
Fucking
Mark sees this,
Todd.
he's like, I'm gonna stop this right now. I'm a hero. And he's like, yo, Todd, knock it off. And then he gets his shit rocked.
Todd beats the fuck out of him.
Todd kicks his ass.
I like
Like, with 2 hits.
because he's like they like barely even start the fight, and he just smacks him right in the face. He's
Yeah.
like, no,
Guess
Todd,
what? I guess I
don't give
got
a
punch the
fuck.
face, punch the gut.
Yeah, like 2 hits and he's just down. I was like, oh my gosh, poor Mark. We also learned that he has a job too, which actually surprised me because his parents seem pretty loaded. Which, you know, considering we have Omni-Man here, but he does have a
They're
job.
trying
where he
to
works
make
That's
him
good for the
learn. They're giving him character.
Yeah.
yeah,
Burger Mert.
Burger Mark.
and
Making him work.
I
at
love
that
I love
shithole.
this scene too because he's taking out the trash at his job. And he throws one of the big trash bags into the huge dumpster, and he tries to throw the other one, but he accidentally sends the fucker to space. He just throws the garbage bag just straight into the horizon. It's just gone.
I mean, we find out where it goes later.
I don't
We do.
remember that. I do like how the idea that they didn't do this whole like 20-minute Spider-Man shooting webs and being surprised and running from building to building. Like he's just like he eats the garbage and he's like, oh cool, I got my powers, I'm good, and that's the end of that scene. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah,
to
and that's
it.
it. He's like, I got my powers now, and that's what I was saying. Where I like this because it doesn't go into like a whole bunch of backstory stuff. This focuses on the characters and the plot of the show.
The show moves very quickly.
It does. There's a lot to unpack in all of this. But yeah, so Mark, he just straight up has his powers. Like, he doesn't have to try to unlock the rest of them. He has his super strength. He can fly now, and he tells his father about it when they were eating dinner that night. And one of the things that kind of, I remember thinking it when I watched it too, and even more when I rewatch it, is Nolan looks really worried.
Yeah, he doesn't seem
When
happy
Mark-
that he got his powers at all.
He doesn't
Yeah,
seem happy at all. He's like not
That
supportive.
that Mark has his powers. But he does say he'll train him, but he doesn't seem like he really wants to.
Oh, one thing that I did like is, sorry to go back, but in that fight with Todd, Amber wins that by
Oh yeah,
Baki and Todd from kicks
Yeah, it's
him
not even
right
like-
in the nuts.
Straight
it is a
in the
fucking
nuts.
like it
It
was a
is a-
chunky kick
It
too.
is a
like,
punt. It's a
Like-
punt. Like he goes off the ground.
like that was 2 field goals.
Oh,
Amber's a
I like
badass.
Amber a lot. She's cool. But yeah, so Mark he remembers a flashback when that night, the night before they're gonna do their flight training in the morning, of when he was a kid, and his dad talked to him about him getting his powers and how he'd be able to fly, and he goes out for his first fly in the middle of the night, and he almost gets hit by a plane. And he clearly can't control his flight. It's not very instinctual for him because he can't even land. Like as soon as he tries to land, he just plummets to the ground and lands in straight concrete.
Well, yeah, he was like flying and he just forgot how to get down and he just keeps going up and up until he can't breathe in the atmosphere. And,
Yeah, he has
Passes
no
out.
idea what
and
he's
he
doing.
falls and you're like, oh, somebody's going to save him. Nope. He just falls into the concrete
I mean,
from
hey.
the atmosphere.
He tanked it. He's fine.
Yeah, and that's what's really cool about that scene too. And this is what I mean by saying it's really condensed, is that it shows off like a couple things about him. One, that he really can't control his flight. Two, he cannot breathe in space. Like he needs to breathe. And three, it shows how strong he is, considering he can fall from the stratosphere and be perfectly fine. This is just a
That's one
ahead.
thing that kind of like, as the show goes on, you see these fights and you're like, I watched this dude fall from space and hit the concrete. And now he's like being punched and getting hurt. And sometimes, I guess that's just a superhero thing where I'm like, the weight behind these characters and like maybe the platforms they're standing on and whatnot, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Just that
That's true.
The fights would work out the way they do when it's like, I watched this guy become a meteorite. And this guy who can like barely break a wall is beating his ass, and it's just weird stuff
be
like
fair-
that. I'm sure
to be
there's-
fair,
yeah, it's
he
just
probably
a
could have
thing.
slowed himself down, or he probably did reach terminal velocity at some point.
Or it's
during
just
his
a
fall.
show, and I should shut up. But anyway.
Terminal velocity.
And Dad is like, I'm going to train you to fly, right? That's what happens. He's like,
Yeah. So they do their flight training, and there's a couple cool things from this too, because he's trying to teach him how to fight. And one of the things he's trying to teach him is the fact that, how to actually throw punches. You don't just move your arm, put your entire body into it by rotating, your hips, put your shoulder into it, lean into the punch, that kind of thing. And he says, we're Viltrumites. We don't have to be on the ground to make our own leverage. We can move freely through space, meaning that you can make your leverage from anywhere you want to make your punches even stronger. So it kind of gives you an idea of like how Omni-Man is just so strong. Is it's not just he's using super strength. He's combining all the aspects of his powers.
see,
to
I never
make
even
himself
thought of that.
stronger.
Like a hammer punch or a hammer fist is going to have the same effect as like an uppercut,
Yeah.
just based on being able to move through 3D plane rather than basing everything off the ground.
Right, and it's really cool. Like, look into the deeper part of how their powers work and how they understand them themselves. But what's really funny is, he's trying to teach him how to punch, and he's like, "Nah, don't do it like that. Do it like this."
He fucking
And I was like what?
rocks him. He rocks him like Debo.
Fucking yeah, he just pow. Like,
Yeah, he just just straight up checks him in the chest. And immediately he's just winded. He falls to the ground. He's like, "Why, Daddy? Like, why did you
why
hurt
did you
me?"
hit me?
Well, he does say, like, they're not going to pull punches when you fight them, so this is what you can expect.
Well, it was even funnier. He's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to punch you that hard."
He's still like, why?
But that's the other thing too is Nolan looks so conflicted just teaching his son these things.
He's
like
super impatient. Like, he doesn't want it. I don't know. He looks like he's doing it for show rather than actually wanting to train him.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to convince him not to do it. Like,
It's
you
almost-
want to get punched like that again? Don't do this.
It definitely feels like he's conflicted himself, as in, like, I'm supposed to train him, but he has some reason that we don't know of yet as to why he doesn't want to. At least that's how it feels at that point.
Yeah. And this is another scene that even feeds into that, because they go home and Deborah's like looking and her son's just like really fucking depressed, and he's actually crying too. And she asks Nolan like did you have to push him so hard? And he says that, "I didn't expect him to actually get his powers. This changes everything. And maybe it would be better if he never got his powers." And it's like, why would he think that?
I mean, maybe it gets answered later on, but we watched 3 episodes and that line still stuck out to me as like, yeah, but why? Like,
Yeah, because there's so many heroes in this world. It's not like it's just the Guardians of the Globe. There's lots of people.
Yeah,
So
there's
why
like
is
multiple
him
hero
being a
teams.
hero too? Yeah, like why does him being a hero too just
What is
just
the
make
fight
things so much
force?
worse?
everybody constantly shits on the fight
Everybody
force.
shits on the fight force. They lost to
Never
the League
see
of
it.
Lizards.
It's just like a background punchline. They're always talking shit about the fight force. And then I guess Todd goes back. No, not Todd. Mark goes back to school the next day and confronts Todd. Now that he has his
Yeah.
powers, I was kind of hoping he'd
Oh,
just like murder Todd.
Yeah, I remember. Like, I was like, "There's no way he doesn't accidentally kill someone with his super strength." That's what I thought for sure was going to happen. Considering people kept referencing like The Boys and stuff, and I never watched the show, but I know it's a really dark show.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that actually didn't happen.
No.
Mark just told Todd, "Just hit me," and he can't do anything because he has superhuman durability. And Todd's just like, "Oh, I guess I can't do anything to you."
He's like, fine, I'm gonna walk
Day of the
away.
day. Today is the day they decide to hammer outside my house on some bullshit. God damn it.
I mean, dude, my dog is barking.
Gotta
I was
love
like,
it.
no.
But that's another little introspective into Mark's character, is the fact he didn't just beat his ass. He just convinced him not to fight by just showing how useless it was.
Yeah, and then that's over, and Todd is like runs off crying, I guess, because he can't beat him up hard enough.
My punches aren't strong.
And then I guess after that, Mark puts on his fake ass Spider-Man suit after school and goes to stop some crimes. And they make, I think, is this the part where they're like, they make fun of the movie and they're like, "I'm gonna be calling myself ass kicker," and he's like, "No, that sounds dumb as shit."
Man, the worst part about it
fights
is I made that joke too. I was like, he's gonna be called ass kicked, and then it's like he made that joke, and I was like, no, I was fucking kidding, dude. No.
Yeah, he goes full vigilante. He's fighting this rock dude. And apparently the whole time his dad was watching him do it. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It was like the most accepted vigilantism ever.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
alright, yeah,
such
you
a
can
one
do
thing.
it. Like-
I've seen, now that they're the cops are very, I mean, next to non-existent. They do show up, but like, I don't know. Every
Yo,
other,
that
every
That
other,
respect for the cops, honestly, like There's another scene where we get a little more into
Are you talking
it.
about? Who I
But
think you're talking about?
there's this ray gun guy, and
Yeah.
he's like literally shooting like holes through buildings, and the villain's like, I just put a hole through this building. Are you really gonna fight me? And they're just like shooting at him, trying to stop him. Like I would be running.
Being a
I would
police
be running
officer
so
is a
hard.
death
just
sentence
put a
with how often these cities get attacked.
Yeah, mad respect to them. I can't believe that they even do the things that
Yeah,
they
like
do.
the
They must be
police shouldn't
crazy.
even be a thing anymore. Like they should just be like healthcare workers and firemen, and then like
Well, someone's got to do like the non-supervillain.
Someone's got
crimes.
to oppress the. I'm kidding. The normies.
and then I guess his dad shows up and he's like, "We gotta this suit looks bougie as shit. You look stupid. Let me take you.
Fucking lame.
You look like an idiot. Let me take you to my guy. I know a guy.
Yeah, but before they go get their suits, he has a talk with his dad and is just like, I really do want to be a hero. I don't care how scared I am, but I'm strong and I want to be just like you. It's like, that's
I'm
my boy.
strong, daddy.
And honestly, seeing him like fight as a vigilante now and like kind of seeing more of his character, he honestly reminds me a lot of Spider-Man. Like kind of the quips that he does and his personality. He reminds me of Spider-Man a lot, and actually like that because he's one of my favorite superheroes.
I mean, he's a quick-witted teenage superhero with new powers. I mean, he's pretty much Spider-Man.
Yeah,
He's got a good moral compass. He only wants to do good. He does have moments of weakness. I mean, he's Peter Parker, for sure.
yeah, and what I like is they establish that like very quickly, very well. And without, like, the whole tragic backstory of Uncle Ben and stuff, the classic, the thing you've seen 1,000 times from
Yeah.
Spider-Man
This
movies.
kid grew up with money, with his dad being a superhero, with, like, no problems whatsoever. Like, he has led the most blessed life, and now he's a superhero, too. But, he's trepidatious, because you gotta learn a lot of new shit.
But yeah, they take him to go get his superhero costume. And the one that he sees, he's like, yeah, I don't like these colors. This orange and yellow ain't doing it for me.
That's where we meet Art, the secret superhero suit maker guy.
Yeah, what was it,
Oh,
like
yeah.
prom dresses by day, superhero suits by night or some shit?
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't go too much into how the suits work. But
They don't. They
that's
say
whatever.
the suits are invincible themselves, or invulnerable.
Indestructible.
Yeah, and it's proved later on when there's like scenes where it's weird because Invincible's, excuse me, like Invincible's suit like gets torn up all the time.
Yeah.
And, but his dad like never gets a speck of dust on him.
I feel like
his
yeah,
suit
like,
is
yeah,
fine
not many people's-
all the time.
Invincible's costume gets ripped all the time, but like nobody else's does.
Yeah.
very
Spider-Man.
interesting.
It's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
But then after that, like, he doesn't know what design he wants for his costume or anything. We get the next day, him and his dad are playing catch with a baseball and glove. And they're literally throwing this baseball across the
facing
entire
each other's
planet.
backs. They're back to back in the air.
He just yeets this thing all across, like, it just orbiting the planet, and it comes back. And he's like, yo, you hear that? And it just sounds like a jet coming.
He's like, you ready?
He's like, yeah, I hear it.
This sounds like
Get
such a terrible idea. Like, how can you possibly know you're not going to hit anything with this?
Well, I mean, obviously when the ball doesn't come back, they know.
Wonder where that
but
went.
the ball,
like, uh-oh.
the ball went through a mountain.
Who or what is dead?
Everything is dead.
But they're having that whole dad talk, and it's from that conversation that Mark gets his name, which ends up being Invincible. And that's when we finally get to see Mark's costume. And I actually like his costume. It's got
all right.
the black,
It's
blue,
decent.
and then the yellow just forms the eye in Invincible. It's pretty neat. I like
Oh,
it.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, no, you didn't?
No.
Yeah, it's... I like it. It's pretty cool. That's supposed to be his logo, is the eye. But then we see the ray gun dude that I was talking about earlier, and that's Mark's first superhero thing. His official superhero act is he stops Ray Gun Man. And
Regular
Mark
man.
has problems holding back. Like, he straight up punches that dude through an entire building. And he's just bouncing him like a basketball down the street.
Yeah, every
The
time
thing
he's
that-
fought, he's done a lot of property damage so
That's
far.
what I was gonna say. They never really talk about that. It just happens. Like this. I think they actually did make a joke about like, well, I gotta go work at the community center or something, and they're like, they have to rebuild that thing like twice a year. Who cares? Like, what was it?
Gets
It might have been
no,
the
they're talking about
hospital.
the
or
White
something.
House.
The White House. Yeah.
Like, yeah, the White House just got attacked. It gets like rebuilt every year or so.
It's like
I don't
twice a
think the
year.
president lives there anymore.
If that was the case, what the hell were the Mauler Twins doing?
Right. But then, yeah, credits roll after that, right? And we think it's over. But then there's still more, because we're going through what the Guardians of the Globe are doing, and they're doing various things. Red Rush is on a date with his girlfriend. Immortal's fighting this dude who looks like, he reminds me of Vulture. He's got like a turbine in his
yeah.
back. He's flying.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I've lined my entire suit with plutonium. I'm going to destroy this entire city. And Immortal just grabs him and throws him into space.
Like mid sentence, he just chucks him. He said, "Well, if I don't know what to do, throw him into space."
It's
I don't know if
fucking
it's
perfect.
better or worse that we didn't even see an explosion afterwards either.
Too far.
No, he's
Threw
so
him way too
far.
Like,
It was kind of like, what was cool is like just through this little scene, I was like, I like Red Rush. Like they just a little. He's only had like 2 maybe 30-second scenes, and he's just like a likable character immediately.
He is, and they go into like his powers a little bit too, because his girlfriend's complaining because they're on a date, like they're having a picnic, and every time she literally just turns around, he goes and like stops some supervillain and comes right back, and he forgets to take his costume off, and that's how Olga's like, "Are you still doing this shit? Like, come on, you can't even stay still in one conversation."
Well, and he does say that's where he's like, yeah, it's a second for you is an eternity for me, or the most casual conversation feels like an eternity to me.
Yeah,
Because I'm so fast.
my
you know,
perception.
and you end up liking Red Rush a lot because he's trying his hardest. He's like trying to woo Olga and apologize, and it works.
I like
So,
those
yeah,
lines.
yeah,
He
this
said-
is my guy.
He said every conversation feels like an eternity to me, but for you, I hang on every word. I'm like, you player, you player.
Like silk, so smooth.
God damn.
But as we're going through the Guardians, we see that they're being called. Like, so they're being called back to like home base or whatever it is. I don't think they ever say what it's called.
The Guardian Tower.
It's some kind of
I don't know.
and Guardian Mountain. I don't know.
The Gooch Cave.
But they all end up at the base, all 7 of them. And I think Immortal says like, "Why did you call us here, Darkwing?" And Darkwing's like, "Well, I didn't call anyone." And everyone's immediately on alert because they're like, "So none of us called each other here. What's going on?"
You know what I just realized? You have a quick scene of Darkwing arresting 2 criminals and chaining them to a tower and being like, "I'll be back tomorrow."
I forgot about
Yeah, dude, I don't think everyone. Oh, wait, he couldn't go back.
Oh no! I forgot about
That's
that.
2 more
Okay.
deaths on the list.
Ooh.
Oops. But they're looking around, and Red Rush, and this really establishes just how fucking fast Red Rush is, because he sees something behind Immortal. He runs over and pushes Immortal, and we see Omni-Man literally trying to just punch his fucking head off. And he misses because of Red Rush. Now everyone's just looking at Omni-Man wondering what the fuck's going on, because he just tried to kill someone. And they immediately just start fighting each
They
other.
do, and for a second, it really feels like, oh, this is just the Justice League, doing a fight. And you're like, okay, cool, all right. For some reason, Superman is beating up all his friends, and then I think he just grabs Red Rush.
Yeah, he grabs Red Rush's head and just starts squeezing.
Like Red Rush is doing this tornado thing, and he's like doing all these rapid punches against him. And at one point, before one of the punches land, Omni-Man just grabs him by the wrist, pulls him in, and grabs both sides of his head with both of his palms and just starts squeezing. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
This is your first scene of hyper violence, and where you realize, okay, this is not going to be the Justice League.
This is not slow. Like, Red Rush is just punching Omni-Man in the chest. And he's doing damage, too. Like, Omni-Man's spitting up blood from how hard that Red Rush is punching this dude. Yeah, he is very powerful. And it shows everyone else, too, because they're running... Oh, sorry.
Well, no, he's punching him so hard his hands break. And he's just punching him with nubs at that point.
Yeah, like the nubs of his wrist. And it shows how fast this is happening too, because you see the rest of the Guardians of the Globe the Globe Guardians or whatever they're called, I forget.
Globe Guardians.
Trying to save him, but they're all going in slow motion. And you just remember when he said that every second is like an eternity for me. So this is going on so long for him, and he's just slowly dying until his head just fucking explodes.
And it is like Spike and Mike's old animations where you're just kind of like, oh damn, like you see the eyes fall out and like it is everything.
It's like some Happy Tree Friends. Like there's brain matter visible. It is brutal. And basically it's just one by one after this. Like Darkwing tries to come from the air to surprise him. Omni-Man just grabs him by the foot and just slams him into the ground, breaking all of his ribs, slams him again, and his head just fucking comes off, and then throws him into Green Ghost.
What he does to the Green Ghost, I could still fucking remember, because like he just like spear hands her through the fucking face.
Yeah, Green Ghost grabs him, and he's
no
like,
effort.
She's like, oh no, and then she just fucking dies. He just spears a hand through her face,
like he was putting
and
on a glove.
she dies immediately.
And then he like turn, but it's funny because he like turns to fight everybody else, and he's still got her body like dangling off his hand, like it's nothing. Like he's like, he got his hands out wide for another attack, and she's still hanging on there.
Yeah, and at this point, Immortal's like, it is very brutal. And at this point, Immortal's like, he must be being controlled. There's no way Omni-Man would do something like this. And they decide they're just going to take him down, like they have to, or they're going to die. And Aquarius, my boy, the fish man, he's firing all this water at him.
He gets
trying
fucked
to stop
so
him.
hard.
And Omni-Man just pulls up Green Ghost's body and uses it as a shield. And they're all being attacked. And I think at one point, War Woman tries to hit him with his mace, but he's able to take it from her and just fucking beheads my fish boy with her mace and kills him instantly.
I don't think she's beheading. I think like he hits him so hard, like his like innards explode out.
Yeah, it's rough. Martian Man tries to tie him up and like grabs a hold of him. At this point, it's just the three of them left. It's just Martian Man, Immortal, and War Woman. Martian Man ties him down, and the other two are just punching him in the face. And he's taking so much damage. Like, Omni-Man's not Superman, clearly from this scene. Like, he is getting fucking hurt.
It is almost a fair fight. I mean, the Immortal is definitely not on his level, but he can still do some damage. He's like a weaker Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Immortal is, that's what I'm saying. The Immortal is like Omni-Man, but not Omni-Man, pretty much.
He has his power set, but he's not as strong.
Yeah.
Well, he can't fly.
Yeah, he can fly.
He can fly.
Can
Remember,
fly?
he throws that guy into space.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought he just fucking threw him. I thought they were on the
They're
ground.
having a conversation in the
I misremembered that.
It's weird because if you remember the scene where at the beginning where they're throwing the military dudes, he actually jumps towards the one guy and just lands back down. He doesn't fly. Just kind of weird. But anyway, Omni-Man rips apart Martian Man and kills him, and then he punches the Immortal through the stomach, grabs War Woman's head and just twists it all the way around, snapping her neck, and then he decapitates Immortal. And then he collapses from his injuries.
And
that's the
credits.
end of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like,
just,
wait, what?
Oh my god. I was wondering where it was going to be, because so far, like, the show was good, but there was no hook yet, you know? There's nothing to make you, like, really want to watch the next episode.
You want a fucking hook? That was a hook.
Yeah. That got me. I immediately want to know what the hell is happening. And we still don't. But that takes us into episode 2 after that. Oh my gosh. I don't even... Like, there was no reason for him to do that, and they still haven't explained why he did any of that.
I'm sure there is.
Well, I'm sure they'll explain it, obviously. I mean, they're not going to be like, oh, he just killed him because he wanted to.
You know, and part of me thinks... Because remember when he said that Mark having superpowers, like, changes everything? I wonder if that was the trigger for what's happening here, you know?
It's possible.
Because he's lived there for, like, 2 decades at this point. He's never done anything like this. And it's just a very strange coincidence that, a couple of days after Mark gets his powers is when Omni-Man just goes fucking berserk and murders some heroes.
Goes injustice on their asses.
Yeah. Like, it's a lot.
Maybe we won't be doing 3 episodes at a time if we're going to talk about the episodes longer than just to watch
Longer
them.
than what they happen. Yeah, I mean, I told you, there's a lot in each episode. There's
and I was just going over what happens in the second one, and there's even more.
There is. Yeah, there's a lot in each of these episodes.
Should we just do, like, 1 episode at a time, then?
We could. I can talk about this later, I guess.
I remember when we were watching, like, that hooked us so much because we were debating watching a 3rd episode. I was like, this is a lot to cover. I don't know if we should do, like, another one. But everyone's just like, we're going to watch the next episode.
It's a good show.
It is. It is a good show. Well, I think it's fair that we could stop here with the first episode.
We continue on the next one. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like, it's like I said, I'm looking over it, and there's just more and more and more and more.
Well, each episode's how long? Like, I want to say like 40 minutes plus, right? An hour?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
40.
You can fit a lot in 1 hour of, like, so, like, yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Episode 2 introduces more heroes, more world building than episode 1 did. So there's even more to talk about.
And also, we're trying something new with recording, so it might be good to stop here, make sure everything works, and
yeah, that's true. Make sure there's no issues
before we do 3 hours worth of content on an untested platform.
That might be fun. It might be fun.
Roll the dice.
I guess. Well, there's still some things that you could talk about for episode 1, 2. I think the main thing is, I really liked a lot of the villains' designs, and we haven't really gotten like a major bad guy.
There is
besides
no big
the Mauler
bad.
Twins.
Yeah, really, there's not. So far,
well, like named villains, because the Mauler Twins were the only ones that had a name.
That's true.
Like Ray Gun Dude and Rock Guy.
Oh, yeah, his name was like Ray Gun Dude.
Yeah, maybe it was. Like, I don't know. They were just there just to get their shit kicked in. So, and luckily we do see more of the Mauler Twins, because I like them a lot. They got some character to them. They're funny.
The voice actor
they look
great.
really cool. Their voice actor is great.
Who were they voiced by again?
I want to say Michael something.
It's the guy that voiced like Lex Luthor and stuff, right? And, like,
I believe so.
The old, like, what was Justice League cartoons or Superman cartoons?
Kevin Michael
both.
Richardson.
Very like iconic, recognizable voice, like for sure. Well, if you've ever seen old superhero shows.
Is it J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man?
Oh, you know
I think
what?
that's who it is.
Kevin Michael Richardson was a voice actor for Goro in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Was he really?
Lilo and Stitch. He was Captain Gantu. Oh, that's where I know him from. He's the big shark guy from Lilo and Stitch. I know that may not. I have a kid.
how you
Like
Deal
at
with
that,
it.
that's your more
I have a kid.
recognizable
That's
role.
your excuse.
That's my excuse for everything. Oh, and he's also Jerome in Cleveland Brown Jr. and Family Guy.
Cleveland French.
Is he really Cleveland Brown Jr.?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Boy, he does a lot. Man, voice actors get a lot of fucking work.
Especially good
They do.
ones.
It's mostly because if your voice can become iconic, like everyone just tries to get you. Like
Oh,
a
he's-
voice actor
oh.
alone can pull in viewers.
He's
Well, dude, look
Principal
at,
Lewis on American Dad.
Like look at what's his name, John H. Benjamin on Archer
yeah.
and Bob's Burgers. Like his voice is iconic. Like he's easily
Yeah.
recognizable.
There's a lot out there.
Same for the guy that plays
Chris Hamill. Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. I fucking love Mark Hamill. He's the Joker to me.
He's a great voice actor. I hope he's in the show eventually because I actually love his voice acting work. He's surprisingly good, considering that I first only knew him for Star Wars, but he's actually a very talented voice actor.
I met myself and I'm drawing a blank. Who voiced Joe on Family Guy again?
Oh, the Tick. I can't remember his name.
Because like I always can recognize his voice every time I hear it.
Oh yeah, he was also on the Tick show.
Patrick
and
something.
Patrick No.
Is it
Patrick-
Wahlberg?
No.
Warburton? Not Warburton. Patrick Swayze.
Warburton, right?
Is it
Yeah, he plays.
is it
Yeah,
Warburton?
Yeah, it's Patrick Warburton.
Oh my god.
He was on the Emperor's New Groove and the Venture
Yeah,
Brothers.
he was,
Yeah, he's Brock Sampson.
Yeah. I like it, dude, like I said, his voice is like you recognize it immediately.
Yeah. That would be
He's
cool
great.
to be a voice actor, man. Their filmography, like for the guy, oh my god, it's so much. It is pages and pages. Of
Are you talking about
acting
for
credits.
Warburton?
No, for Kevin Michael Richardson.
Kevin Michael
Yeah.
Richardson.
Yeah, that's why
Literally,
voice acting's
like
hard. It's very difficult.
literally like 1,000 different voice acting credits.
Dude, it's nuts.
I love that voice acting has gotten so good in the last like decade.
There are some characters that you guys seemed okay with. There was one or two that I feel like could have had different voice actors. I don't even know if we're introduced to those characters yet, though.
We are. I know who you're talking about though. Cecil could have used probably a different voice actor or a different voice. I think the actor's fine.
I thought even Omni-Man could have used a different voice. Maybe it was just the audio quality sounded a little... And I like J.K. Simmons. I just
Yeah,
needed something
it's
a
funny.
little
He has
bassier.
such a dad voice.
Yeah.
That's weird coming from like Superman, but he just constantly just sounds like a middle-aged dad.
Yeah.
Sounds like Fliz.
Am
Damn.
I middle-aged? What's
Can't do
middle-aged?
him like that.
Let me see. What's middle-aged?
You're gonna do him like
He's
that?
looking it up.
I
That's
am
what I
not
do, I have
middle-aged.
to.
45 to 65. You're killing me, Smalls.
You're almost there.
I am closer than anybody else here, so
That's true.
fair assumption.
Oops.
Yeah, so maybe Omni-Man, but I liked most of the voice actors for this show.
There's really nothing I do not like. Like usually when I'm watching a show, there's something that'll stick out to me. Like last week when we did, there was the crying and the sleeping, and there's things that like just bug me when I
God damn
watch
it.
something. There's nothing in this that really turns me off to it.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool about it too. Is it's a very likable show. It's easy to get into, and just with that twist at the end of the first episode, like it's already a likable show, and that just pulls you into it where you want to see the next episode.
Rarely do we watch something and everybody in the lobby is like, okay, next one, let's go, come on, next one.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were like,
yeah.
no.
And it's consistent like that too. Like every episode makes you want to watch the next one.
Yep.
Like it's very well done.
It's very well written and it's very well adapted. I mean, the animation, it like I said, it literally looks like you're watching. When it's kind of okay, there is one or two scenes like out in front of the school where they changed to 3D animation for some reason, and it looks terrible.
It's just the same scene reused.
It's just
For some
background
reason.
shit, though. Yeah, it's
Yeah. That's
It's-
probably
it's
one of the
fine.
flaws of the show is the CGI usage. There's quite a bit of it, and it's very random and sporadic.
I wonder
you'll see
how
sometimes.
much. Well, just like when like because in Justice League in like the conversational scenes, everything is very static, and they're just talking, and there's not a lot happening. And then I guess when the action kicks in, they throw in more money for animation. It is obviously. I wonder how much of that is literally just trying to ape that type of show. Because we're already doing animation like that. I mean, everything is a huge play on the Justice League.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it's very sporadic on like when it's used. Like you'll see civilians running away from something, right? And you'll have hand-drawn ones next to CGI ones, which just make it look even worse.
It's true. I've seen a few scenes where there's one specifically that sticks out where two characters are flying away, and it's literally a static image being shrunken and moved across the screen instead of actually animated.
Yeah. So the CGI can be wonky. I think that's one of the things about this show they may have to get used to. It's not. I've seen worse CGI. That's for sure.
It's definitely not like a deal breaker, though.
Yeah.
It is very.
It's more like they had limits to what they could just hand draw. So this is the cheap, easy solution to do that.
Yeah,
to keep things going forward.
It's Amazon, a mom and pop company. You're good. They gotta keep those funds in check.
No.
Well, no matter how much money you
What
throw
are they
into something,
made of
like you saw
money?
this with Dragon Ball Super, like they threw tons of money at tons of artists, and it still came out like shit. Just because the things
Some of
take
it.
time.
Some of it, yeah. I'll agree
Yeah.
with you there.
Well, if you rush you can't rush an animated series. That's how it turns out.
Yeah.
Not looking great.
You get lots of mistakes.
That's how you get
so
two left
CGI is
hands
a good way to
on
keep
certain
things
characters.
going quick.
All right, so I think unless you guys got anything else about the first episode of Invincible,
It was fun.
No,
I liked it.
I think that's
It
it.
was cool.
it's actually super dope. If you haven't seen it, then you are totally spoiled. And I would still say watch it. It's watch it and watch it along with us.
I think I'm gonna say I kind of like it more than The Boys.
The Boys is definitely slower for sure.
Like I love The Boys, but like I think I like Invincible more than The Boys.
We'll see. I really, really like The Boys. But there are, like, especially in the first season, like, there was a couple episodes I, like, stopped watching it and had to come back to just because it got kind of slow.
I think I did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to start The Boys more than once. And then once I got into it and actually finished it, it did not hook me immediately like this one does.
Yeah, I never watched The Boys, so I couldn't say how it is. The only
I'm just it's
Don't-
just it doesn't move as fast. It's pretty much there's a lot more talking and a lot more because you're using actual actors and stuff. So
Things
you're
are a lot
not
more
gonna
dire
have-
in that show too.
It's a lot more dire. It's a lot more
Yeah.
grounded, I guess. You're
Yeah,
kind of
'cause-
it's more worried
like-
about the conflict between people being superpowered and regular ass people versus this,
Yeah,
which is
because
just the
they
superheroes.
have to be careful. They're not superpowered. Like
Yeah, the only contrast I could make is either with Justice League, which this show is basically a copy off of, One Punch Man, but that's more of a parody series of that entire genre in general, so it's not really a fair comparison.
Watch Man's
And
great.
probably Worm, just because I like Worm a lot, and it's very similar to The Boys and the style that they do. And Worm is, I don't want to say is a lot darker than this show, but it definitely goes more into how powers affect like society and just people in general than this show does. Like people in the show just have powers and they're just superheroes, where in Worm, and I'm guessing like The Boys, it's just not that simple.
It's not.
Does that make any sense?
My apologies. I missed that because things.
I thought you were just like, I don't want to say anything.
No. I no. I genuinely don't have a response because my kid was walking in on me doing nonsense.
The gist of what Lionel said is like, how people having powers in Invincible is pretty straightforward, but in like Worm and the Boys, it's a little bit more complex as to why those powers exist.
As far as I know from this show, yes, but I really don't know where this show's gonna go when it comes
Neither
to
do I.
that.
I'm excited to find out.
At the moment, from what I've seen so far, it really does feel like the traditional superhero cartoon where just some people have powers for different reasons, and it's not even the point. Like, nobody really cares.
It's just a normal thing.
It's just, what are you going to do? Everybody hits puberty and then becomes a superhero for
Shoots
this reason
fire
or
at the
another.
butts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is it's very simple. Where in Worm, which is the only contrast I could really give this, it's a lot more complicated than that because there's just other factors to consider if you were trying to become a superhero that don't apply here.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of bureaucracy or anything. It looks like the world just deals with people being superheroes. It's not.
It's not like controlled at all. Like you just kind of do your thing. Like you can just go out and just have fun as a superhero. Stop
as long as you're not blowing shit up.
Yeah,
or doing villain things.
Yeah, it really seems like as long as you're not making too much of a mess, people don't really care like what's going on in this world. Like there's always, to be fair, there's always a threat from space or an extra dimensional being that wants to try and to destroy the world, or there's always something huge going. There's always end of the world shit happening. So maybe that's why nobody really cares about any of that shit. Would you have time if there was always something threatening the entire Earth? Probably not.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think that just about does it.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you for sticking with us as the show evolves. We'll keep going at it, and next time we'll get back at episode 2. That'll probably happen sooner, but some technical difficulties arose, so we'll see. Hopefully I can get this one out soon enough.
We'll see how it goes. Episode 2 is going to be a lot.
It is.
There's a lot to unpack, yeah.
But, maybe we can find time easier, or at least soon. Not soon but maybe we can find time in the next day or two to record the next episode without having to stress too hard about making it all come together. We'll figure it out. But thank y'all for listening. Follow me on Twitch for my shitty streams.
He needs more subscribers. Give him that follow.
I do. I need more. I don't need subscribers. I need followers.
He's playing
viewers.
Village
I
right
need more
now.
friends. I'm playing Village. It's dope.
It's fucking awesome, Village.
My alerts don't work properly, and everybody was abusing the shit out of them.
You see,
so
man,
mad at that game so
I wish I
fast.
didn't miss the stream last night.
Yeah, no, they found out that TTS works.
Oh,
and
no.
I couldn't figure out how to stop it because I don't know how to use stream elements, and so they were just they were ruining
used
my
and
stream.
abused.
It was sad. I didn't even get to play the game for like half an hour. Anyway, we will catch y'all next time. Like the video, share it, tell your grandma. Right? Smash
Grandma.
that subscribe button.
See y'all.